Oh, wow. Welcome to another edition of the Unscripted 101 podcast. There's so much going on right now. NBA playoffs, NFL draft just finished about 25 minutes ago. NHL playoffs is going on. I mean, there's so much going on. So, but let me get down to what I want to talk about. I'm not going to talk about everything because most of you know what's going on in the NBA playoffs right now. You know, you got your cell phones, so you're definitely going to jump on your phones and check out. Orlando has tied the series at 2, which, you know, I did pick Orlando to win. 112-89. OKC is up 3 on New Orleans. They look like they're about to get to the second round, and Boston is actually showing Miami who the best team in the East is. So they're up 63-39 at the moment. The Lakers in Denver, that misery is going to end tonight. Tomorrow, we got my beloved Knicks 2-1 up against Philly. That's going to go 7. That's going to be a barn burner, a war, as I said via Twitter. The Clippers and Mavs are going to be a war. I know they got a 2-1 lead, the Mavs, but trust me, Clippers are not going to go away. I feel if Ty Lue can make some adjustments and, you know, some guys could sacrifice a little bit because they have a lot of talent, but there's only one basketball. I feel this series could be tied up tomorrow, but Clippers got to be careful. They fall 3-1. It's lights out. Milwaukee and Indiana, I picked Indiana. Milwaukee's a mess. Injuries, inside nonsense. You know, the whole dilemma with Giannis and his brother, and people call it a dilemma and whatever they want to call it. That's over. So I expect the Pacers to go up 3-1 and then put this away at some point in time next week. Minnesota and Phoenix. The term I used for this series when I picked Minnesota to win was youth movement. And it clearly is showing that there is a youth movement. And as far as Phoenix is concerned, this whole super team thing, it's a complete disaster. It's again proves what I've been saying for years about this super team thing. Super teams are basically a bunch of people who are not going to share the wealth. There's only one basketball. There's not role players. You're asking all-stars and 20-point game of guys to dip into their souls and sacrifice, which is very hard. And right now, as you can see, they're down 3-0. And whether they win tomorrow, the series is going to end by the time I speak to you all again on the Unscripted 101 podcast. I can guarantee it. The next time I come on and have an episode, which will probably be Wednesday or Thursday, this series will be over. So now I'm done with the NBA playoffs. My little 3-minute, recap. I'm going to talk about the the NFL draft. And there's certain things I'm going to point out. I'm not going to get into all the picks and all that. There's too many podcasts that are doing that. But what I will focus on is the number 8 pick, Michael Penix Jr. There was an uproar by media personnel, sportscasters, social media figures, just a huge amount with various opinions on this pick. And a lot of people were saying, well, oh, wow, why would you do this? And if you are a sports person or you understand the business a little bit, it's a move you have to make. Now, people say they made a mistake with the pick. No. They made a mistake with what they did before the pick. You gave Kirk Cousins 4 years, $180 million, with $100 million guaranteed. Atlanta ran and signed this guy. There wasn't any big hoo-ha for him in the free agency. There was no hoo-ha for him. Most of the teams out there had their quarterback. Chicago wasn't going to take him because they were either going to keep Justin Fields or they were going to they were going to draft Caleb Williams, which they did. New England was not going to sign him. They were going to draft Drake May or sign somebody cheap and do something in the draft. But, of course, they had a pick, so we knew they were going to draft him. Washington was not going to go through this recycle thing again. They've recycled a bunch of quarterbacks. Sam Howell. Oh, my gosh. Is it Gardner Minshew? I don't think it was Gardner Minshew. I forget the guy's name, but he was in that playoff game against Tampa a few years ago, and he grinded back and forth with Brady. I forget his name. Next podcast, I'm going to bring up his name and remember him. Shout out to him. He played a phenomenal game. Cannot remember his name right now. Yeah. And my Vikings gave him a decent deal, which was fair. He didn't want it. So they went out and they picked up Sam Darnold for cheap, and they drafted J.J. McCarthy. I'll talk about that another day. Nobody was going to give him that kind of money. They might have given him 2 years and an option, like the Vikings were reportedly going to do. They weren't going to give him that. Atlanta ran like a bunch of, hoo-has and said, hey, here's 180. Kirk Cousins' agent, once again. The guy is brilliant. I think his name is Mike McCartney. This guy is I would love him to be my agent. Holy crap. He's amazing. I'm just trying to understand what Atlanta was thinking when they made this decision. Like, why would they, and I'm not here to bash them, because obviously they went through a bunch of quarterbacks and it didn't work out. These things happen. The Bears went through Mitch Trubisky. Horrible pick from the start. They drafted Justin Fields. Before Justin Fields, they had a bunch of spare parts. Justin Fields is a phenomenal young talent, but he just didn't fit the system. Chicago needs to fire their coach, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, nobody was running to the forefront to pick him up. Mike McCartney, brilliant as he is, went out and got the best deal available for this guy. Again, Atlanta is the biggest suckers. The draft pick is not an issue. If you look at Kirk Cousins, you look at his stats, the regular season, he's good. The playoffs, he's got one playoff win. And he's been known for throwing very, very incompetent interceptions. He has. I know, I've watched it. And so, you know they're coming. Atlanta fans, I'm sorry, you got a phenomenal young team. You still need to work on your defense, but you need a quarterback. Kirk Cousins is not a long-term option. If you think he's going to win you a Super Bowl, it's not happening. The Charlotte Hornets are going to win the championship before that happens. And I'm just being real. So, you know what I mean? It's not disrespect, but they just don't have it together right now in terms of the team chemistry. And the team's, not chemistry, the structure is not there yet. And they will get it together. They have some great young pieces on the offensive side. But quarterback, And yes, I am going to give Michael Penix Jr. a chance. And yes, I am rooting for him, a young black quarterback who's gone through a bevy of injuries, took his team to the national championship game, again, to the national championship game with a Washington Huskies roster that most people thought would have been playing in, maybe not Rose Bowl, but something else, and would have probably finished in the top 10, not in the top 2. They didn't exceed expectations. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. So respect that. And I look at some of the guys that were drafted in the past. How come nobody's talking about them and their failures? You know, the Zach Wilson situation right now, he's stuck in Denver. He's probably not going to be there for too long. They drafted Bo Nix. There's a reason why. You know, Ryan Leaf, everybody knows the history with that. Rick Meyer, for those guys a little older, like myself, and knows football, knows the Rick Meyer situation. And Tim Couch, let's not go there. You know, Josh Rosen, ugh. Kenny Pickett, ugh. Just being real. Now, Trey Lance, I'm rooting for this kid. He hasn't been given a chance yet. I feel the kid, given a chance, could do something. But all the other quarterbacks that fell on their face that nobody's trying to say anything about, calm down. I've also read some very disturbing comments about Michael Pence on social media. And there's some sick people out there, and we know that. But it's a travesty that we have human beings who are so deceptive and diabolical to get so personal, not just with Kirk Cousins, but with Michael Penix. I'm not going to get personal with Kirk Cousins. As a person, he's a great father. Probably a fantastic husband. I don't know. But as a quarterback, he's a mid-level quarterback who's been overpaid twice. So that's my take on that. Congratulations to Kirk to getting the money, and congratulations to Michael Penix Jr. for getting drafted number 8, who wears number 8, who at some point in time is going to replace the guy who used to wear number 8. Yeah. And another thing I want to touch on this podcast, I want to touch on the so-called last picks of the draft. They call them Mr. Irrelevant. Today's supposed Mr. Irrelevant was Alabama safety Jalen Key, who was drafted in the 7th round, 257th. 257. Only 257 players were drafted into this draft to the thousands that made themselves eligible. So I'd like to first congratulate every single one of the 257 players that were drafted into the NFL draft. You were all worthy and you were all ready. And to all the other guys that were not drafted, still congratulations. You still have a chance to get signed, go to a camp, and prove the world wrong. Because everybody loves failures. Nobody respects greatness. And that's just facts. Only a minimal amount of people respect greatness and appreciate it. A lot of people just pray for failures because them themselves don't want to go out and perform and try to be great. So congratulations to all the guys who got drafted and to all the guys who are going to get signed and are going to get a chance to put themselves into a position to compete for a job. Because as far as I'm concerned, besides a few jobs here and there on various teams, all jobs are available in the NFL. Guy gets injured tomorrow morning, you step up, boom. You become a star, you get paid, and you can live your dream out and do what's great. So, you know, these things are always unique. It's exciting to watch the draft. The NFL is always exciting. It's a great story because there's going to be guys in this draft that are not going to be in the league in a few years. And then there's going to be guys in this draft who are going to become absolute phenomenal stars. Whether it's on or off the field, whether it's their work off the field or work on the field or just become great sportscasters when they retire, great coaches when they retire. So the lineage in the football community is amazing and it's special. And like I said, being drafted last don't mean you're done. The last 4 guys that have been drafted last are all playing in the NFL right now. Deshaun Johnson, who was drafted by the Rams, he's still playing in the league. Grant Stewart, he got drafted by the I think it's the Bucks. The Bucks drafted him. Yes, he's on the roster. He's playing for the Colts, and everybody knows about the 2022 Mr. Irrelevant, Mr. Iowa, Brock Purdy. Just played in the Super Bowl, so anything is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another edition of the Unscripted 101 podcast. And everybody, hopefully you enjoyed the NFL draft if you watched it. If you're watching the NHL playoffs, enjoy that too. And the NBA playoffs, keep watching. It's going to stay interesting as always. So, folks, that's the wrap. I'm your host, DJ Briscoe. U1 Podcast. Respect and peace.